chemist spirits are the cure for the common cocktail.
We really looked at a wine that would go well for people who are pursuing an active and healthy lifestyle.
Gin and tonic in an 8-ounce can.
Dedication to our craft for over 165 years. It's no wonder that we brought this amazing liquid to the United States.
The idea of aging in Cabernet cask is very unique.
Du Nord is a place where people feel safe, where they feel welcome, where they feel wanted.
And decided to create an organic vodka through a premium lens.
The recipe that is genuinely history in a bottle.
We started making spirits to share our appreciation for quality whiskey and the Central Coast.
Salute. Cheers.
This wine pairs with everything.
We've always loved bringing people together over a great drink because we know that cocktails are the ultimate social connector.
Pink Pig is a premium añejo cristalino that is shattering expectations.
Welcome to the Ready to Drink Hard Seltzer competition in the 2021 Wine and Spirit Wholesalers of America Brand Battle Tournament. WSWA's Brand Battle is the alcohol industry's premier pitch competition. My name is Michelle Korsmo, and I'm the president and CEO of the Wine and Spirit Wholesalers of America. WSWA represents the companies who supply wine and spirits beverages to all retail locations, including restaurants, clubs, bars, grocery stores, chain retailers, convenience stores, and your local independent retailer with the products they need to serve their customer base. By serving the entire retail industry, wholesalers are experts in what makes a product attractive to different segments of the market. Wholesalers know what sells, what is needed to fill out a company's product portfolio, and what trends are driving today's marketplace. Wholesalers have important business relationships with the brands they distribute. They are business partners, and together they bring the wine and spirits producers' vision to life. Our Brand Battle Tournament is a wonderful way to showcase this important relationship and the expertise that wholesalers bring to the table to help great products succeed. I'm excited to learn more today about the great products brought to us by our contenders. First, I would like to thank our tournament sponsors. 750 Beverage Media Group is our WSWA Brand Battle Tournament media partner, who truly is a partner to us, highlighting the tournament throughout their media platform and engaging with the contenders and winners throughout the summer. They have been a longtime supporter of WSWA and its various programs, and we're thankful for our relationship with 750 Beverage Media Group. A big thank you to our other tournament sponsors, including Beverage Brand Ambassador Academy, The Cocktail Guru, London Essence, Gap Promotions, Low and No Beverage Summit, and the Wine Industry Network. Thank you to all of these sponsors for helping make this tournament possible. Today, you'll be hearing from 6 different ready-to-drink and hard seltzer companies who will spend a few minutes presenting information about their products. After each presentation, the judges will have a few minutes to ask questions and provide feedback. I encourage all of you watching to add your own questions and thoughts in the chat box at the bottom of the screen. We will try to answer all questions that come through during the tournament. At the end of today's competition, we'll announce our category winner from judges' votes and also the People's Choice winner for this category, selected by all of you, our virtual audience, tuning into today's competition. The Judges' Choice winner will move on to the championship round in September. Now I would like to introduce our esteemed panel of wholesaler judges participating today. Together, this group represents small, mid-market, and large wholesalers from across the country and bringing over 75 years of combined experience and expertise in the wine and spirits industry. I know my viewers share a little awe and jealousy of the great job you all have in looking up for the next up-and-coming brand. Here are today's judges. First up, we have Ray Lombard. Ray is the Executive Vice President and General Manager, Craft Spirits for Southern Glazer's Wine and Spirits. Ray drives the strategy for Southern Glazer's craft spirits portfolio. This includes overseeing the company's new craft spirits division across the country and leading all craft spirit sales and support functions as part of Southern Glazer's new SG Plus Enhanced Customer Service, Fine Wine and Craft Spirit Strategy. In addition to these responsibilities, Ray manages craft spirit supplier onboarding, contracts, management, marketing, and performance, and directs Southern Glazer's highly successful fleet advertising program. I'm happy to introduce Christian Gordon. Christian was meant to be in the beverage alcohol industry. He comes from a family of wine merchants and is third generation in the wine and spirits distribution industry. He has worked as a SOM in Manhattan, as well as a sales rep before moving to San Francisco to lead a sales team for a mid-sized distributor, Epic Wine and Spirits. Currently, Christian is living in Maryland and is a field sales manager for Breakthrough Beverage. He holds an MBA in wine business from Sonoma State University, as well as a certified sommelier and WSET Level 3 designation. Next, Trey Jenkins is the next judge I'd like to highlight. Trey is the corporate mixologist for Republic National Distributing Company and responsible for developing beverage menus and programs across the US. Through ongoing education and experimentation, Trey has focused on creatively applying the science of flavor into cocktails and takes pride in collaborating with others to stir up and elevate their beverage program. Now we have Laurent Roy. Laurent started his career in New York City in the restaurant business behind the bar and eventually becoming the GM of several restaurants. In 1999, Laurent started as an on-premise sales rep for National Distributing Company and then became the DM of the Florida Keys. Laurent has managed the on and off trade for wine, beer, and spirits. He's worked for major brands for over 16 years, holding several leadership roles along the way. Currently, Laurent is the SVP Sales and Marketing for Standard Beverage Company. Kristen Rolifson is our next esteemed judge. Born and raised in Tulsa, Kristen spent several years behind the bar running many high-volume beverage programs around the Tulsa area. In 2008, Kristen began as a sales rep for RNDC, working her way through the beer, wine, and spirits divisions and excelling in both retail and on-premise channels. Kristen joined Armada Distributing in 2018, and in her role as the state sales director of wine, spirits, and beer, is quickly building the sales team and bringing in new and exciting brands. My last introduction for today's tournament is Casey Stevens. Casey Stevens joined Georgia Crown in 2017 with a strong background in sales and marketing from the beverage and television sectors. He's responsible for all marketing for both Georgia and Alabama Crown, as well as all internal and external communication. He manages outside agencies, which includes Georgia Crown's marketing agency, Syrup Marketing. Such a great group of judges. Thank you all for participating as judges today for our competition. We're going to learn so much from your feedback to all of our contenders and their products. Now, I would like to introduce today's Brand Battle Tournament host, Bill Rancic. Bill has been a part of the WSWA Brand Battle as a judge for several years and is a well-known American entrepreneur and restaurateur. It's wonderful to have you lead our competition today, Bill. Take it away.
Thank you, Michelle, and what a great panel of judges we have. Ordinarily, I'm a judge, and this year, fortunately, I get to host because it's a much easier job. There's no pressure. These decisions were so hard over the years because the products were so amazing and everyone just put their heart and soul on the line. So as a judge this year, I certainly have a much easier job. So thank you for having me back. I think this is my 4th year. And as you said, Michelle, I've been in the restaurant business for 10 years now. As a partner in the RPM restaurant group, we have several different brands in the restaurant group, from RPM Italian to RPM Steak to Pizzeria Portofino, and we're expanding, all over the country. So certainly, it's been fun 10 years for me. And we've also gotten in the Prosecco business. My wife and I own Giuliana Prosecco, and I wish we would have had Brand Battle when we were launching that, because it would have been an opportunity of a lifetime for us. So with that said, let's get to it. 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be the host, and now I'm back. And this category, I think, is even more competitive than 2 weeks ago. We've got such unique brands that have entered, and I'm excited to hear from 6 impressive companies. Let's hear from Barrelsmith. We have Matt Ellenthal. We've got Romeo's Gin, Steph Rofor. I hope I got that right. Passion Tree Hard Seltzer. We have Garrett Olson and Andy Kuklak. We have Andrew Rodbell from Post Meridian Spirit Company, Carl Ziegler as our next contender from Roseade USA, and finally Troop Beverage. Please welcome Cece and Reed DeRose. I hope I got that right, and you guys were helping me out. So now that we know the players, we're going to get started. Our first contender is going to be Matt Ellenthal from Barrelsmith. Since 2010, Matt and Martha have been perfecting the art of creating barrel-aged craft cocktails. You know, they don't settle for traditional recipes and off-the-shelf bottles. They've experimented, they've sourced, and they developed their own ingredients, and they've really done a great job with it. So, Matt, tell us more, and good luck.
Well, thank you, and thanks to the WSA. Cheers. It's never too early for a Barrelsmith Negroni. Very excited to have been invited to participate. As you mentioned, about a dozen years ago, we started going down this path as a hobby. I was working in the casino industry for an innovation and tech company. And part of my job was to travel around the world and meet with owners and general managers of, very renowned casino properties. And these folks love to show off the latest in food and bev. And so I got completely spoiled with the best wine, the best food, and the best cocktails. And it really coincided with the rise of cocktail culture, which I really had an affinity towards. And one of the things I discovered was barrel aging cocktails. And so the challenge was to recreate this at home for our own personal consumption. I had some problems and I had some advantages. The advantages, my wife was in the wine industry. She's a WSET Level 2 wine certified, done quite a few different consulting projects in wine and has a really great palate. The disadvantage is my town of Wilton, Connecticut, up until very recently, was a dry town and then became a moist town, meaning that we had no liquor stores. So I had to go to the neighboring towns to go buy ingredients, started with off-the-shelf stuff, and then was doing special orders. But it was always a constant experimentation to get the best results from a barrel-aged cocktails. And over literally a 10-year R&D period, our cocktails just got better and better and better. And we started sharing them with friends and family. And the demand from my friends and family finally got to be so much that I relented and reluctantly started down the path of, well, to keep up with my friends and family demand, I need to commercialize this business. And how do we go about doing that? So the first step in all that was to create the world's best product, right? So I hired an experienced flavor scientist from the alcohol beverage industry. And with his help, we experimented with different cocktails, different recipes, ingredients, aging parameters, barrel sizes, oak types, and things like that. We also looked to source the best ingredients, the best suppliers, and the best partners. We were able to find some award-winning base spirits, but at the end of the day, we just weren't satisfied with some of the other ingredients. So we had to really formulate our own Rosso vermouth, and we also formulated our own liqueur, which we named after my wife, Martha Outlaw. So we were able to source some ingredients, but we had to formulate our own. And then once we had all that put together, we would test, reformulate, age, retest, and repeat. So step number one was to create the world's best product, something that we were very, very proud of, and the right selection of cocktails. The next step in the process was then to create a brand. So the first thing we had to do is develop a brand pyramid, which really influenced all of our decisions. Part of the brand pyramid was the essence and the voice of the brand. And then that led to our Barrelsmith brand name. And that was a complicated process with research, the US Patent and Trademark Office. We had an objection filed from one of the top 5 multinational spirits companies against our Barrelsmith brand name. But eventually we persevered and won that battle. And then we had to come up with a logo. So we came up with our Barrelsmith logo, our trade dress, and our color palette. And all those things then influence what's our packaging, what's our bottle going to look like, what size are we going to have? Here's our 750 bottle. What's our label? What's our closure? Our back label. What's our story we're telling on the label? Here is our 100 ml bottle. And the closure is different on this one and the different uses. And then we also package the 300 mLs into a variety pack. So we've got a booster kit here. We've got the story on the side. We've got the ingredients on the back. Part of the things we've had to do with Barrelsmith is educate the consumer on where we are in terms of a ready-to-drink cocktail. We're not a spiked seltzer. We're not a novelty cocktail.
I gotta cut you off there because we're running out of time, Matt. I'm so sorry. But it's time for our judges to come back in. And I'm going to ask Ray from Southern Glazers. Ray, any questions right off the bat? Ray, can you hear me?
Yes, I could.
Okay, thanks, Ray.
So who do you see as your target consumer, as well as how, where, and when do you see the consumption occurrence for Barrelsmith?
So I think that the target consumer is more of a psychographic than a demographic. It's anybody that's into craft cocktails or a good cocktail, and that can be consumed both at home or on premise as well. So we've had a really good positive feedback, both from those that are looking to serve a high margin drink in a bar and a restaurant with little to no fuss, as well as the consumer themselves. And we just recently won a SIP award for all three of our products. The Boulevardier got the Platinum Best in Class.
What's your retail on the shelf, as well as what's your on-trade sell price?
So our shelf price to the consumer is $38 for the 750, and these variety packs go for $25. And then the pricing in the market depends by state, but we were very careful to make sure that everybody had very healthy margins along the way.
I'm going to switch over, if we can, to Christian. Christian?
Matt, thank you. Yeah, the Negroni was really easy to drink, as well as the Manhattan Boulevardier, if I'm saying that right. So really easy to drink, really off to a great start. What would you tell your customer of the top 3 qualities of your brand are?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, what would you tell your customer your top 3 qualities of your brand are?
Oh, so I think it's a combination of convenience, luxury, and uniqueness would be those 3 things in order to demonstrate what Barrelsmith is to the consumer.
Great, thank you.
Hey, Christian. Kristen, do you have any questions, Kristen?
Yeah, hi. So I am curious about sourcing of ingredients, specifically on the predominant spirit that's in each one of these, the Negroni, Manhattan, and Boulevardier. Where are you sourcing your rye, your bourbon, and your gin from?
So, just to be blunt, that's a trade secret, but the process was very complicated because there's a great amount of commercially available premium spirits out there. So we went through probably 50 different tasting sessions just to narrow it down to a couple of base spirits that we liked. We mixed those into cocktails, and then we barrel aged them to test them to make sure that they would be greatly improved by barrel aging. And it was sort of a process of elimination for our base spirits until we found the one that really made the cocktail fantastic.
Okay. And how long is the barrel age?
So our Barrelsmith cocktails age for months, not for weeks, and not for years. And each batch is different because each batch of barrels is different. Environmental conditions are different. So we taste on a regular basis, and when we get the excellent cocktail, then we disgorge and bottle.
Okay, thank you.
We have about 30 seconds. Loren, I think you have a question, but if we can, we've got to get this wrapped up in about 30 seconds if possible.
The packaging is great. The product itself was very good as well. Are you currently in distribution in any states? And if so, what's the feedback been?
So because of COVID, we had a hard time launching in 2020. So we pivoted to partner with Reserve Bar and just get proof of concept in 2020. I just wanted to sell one bottle. We sold over 300 cases in the first couple of months. So that's pretty good proof of concept. In 2021, we are being distributed in Connecticut. We're in over 50 stores. We've had reorders and replenishment from our distributor there. And we have product on trucks today, literally on the way to Vermont and on the way to Las Vegas.
Well, thank you, Matt, for kicking us off. I really appreciate it. You know, the first slot out is sometimes you can get a little bit nervous. So thank you for doing that. Now we're going to move on to our second competitor. Cheers. We have Steph Rushfar from Romeo's Gin. He brings urban art where you don't expect it, and now boasts a family of 6 products. Your gin presentation was great a few weeks ago. I look forward to learning more about your RTDs. Steph, the floor is yours, my friend.
Hi, everybody. First and foremost, I got to say thank you to the WSWA for the event. It's a real honor to be here today, competing with all those fantastic brands and entrepreneurs and showcasing our work to you, the judges. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't be here today at all without the work and vision of my partners, Caro and Nick. Self-financed off night janitor and waitress jobs, they started our journey back in 2010. Fast track a few years later, I joined them to build what is now today one of the world's most important spirits and RTD producers, Duvernois Creative Spirits. From vodka to gin and from cream liqueur to RTDs, we produced last year over 120,000 cases without being available in the biggest market in the world, the US. Our vision for Romeo's was driven by a will to be boldly different, by a real passion for urban art, and most importantly, to be valuable to our consumers. It's in 2017, a couple of years before the RTD revolution, that Nick had the idea of creating our first iteration of Romeo's Gin in a ready-to-drink format. Even though Romeo's was born a gin and became an instant success, our RTD line set the bar at a whole new level. We were pioneers, trendsetters. Nowhere on the planet had a spirit brand launch an RTD showcasing a super premium spirit. The premiumization of the category had begun. But to be honest, I was pretty skeptical at first. I felt it was a risk that could damage the image of our super premium gin and that it would cannibalize or worse, devalue our brand. But it did the opposite. At that time, the category was mostly crowded with low-priced products with ice, sugar content, artificial flavors, and questionable marketing and packaging. We opted for premiumization and collaborated with artists to design our cans as if they were ready to be exposed in a museum. Today, our 4 RTDs are all made with 100% natural ingredients and all with Romeo's super premium gin. Romeo's Gin and Tonic with its mandarin peel and elderflower delicate floral touch. Romeo's Gin Fizz with the freshness of cucumber and lemon. Romeo's Gin Spritz with its rhubarb and blood orange zesty herbal accent. Romeo's Gin X and Soda, blending our new Romeo's Gin X, a watermelon flavored pink gin with fresh lime and soda, an amazing light thirst quencher. But it's not just our flavor profiles that make us unique. It's the way we replicate and adapt our local art, our local urban art inspired marketing strategies in each market we choose to enter. At the forefront of each of our RTDs is showcased a local emerging artist artwork, but it even goes further. Romeo's is not a product with a cause, it's a cause with a product. A cause that aims to democratize art, that supports emerging artists, that gives us all, no matter our financial reality, a chance to enjoy and live all that art has to offer. Since our launch, we've given back more than $500,000 to the artistic community and have partnered with more than 100 up-and-coming artists through a variety of initiatives, such as art gallery openings, no-commission art fairs, street art festivals, mural commissioning. We even opened our own museums. 3 years after selling our first RTD and with more than 4 million units sold, we're very proud of what we achieved and are definitely ready to replicate our success in markets across the United States. with US artists, for US artists, on gin bottles, RTDs, and beyond. Thank you.
Awesome. That was great. What a great presentation. You ready to get some grilling done here, Steph?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're gonna let Laurent take it away. Kick us off.
Steph, how are you? Wonderful presentation. Thank you. I did not have a chance to sit on the gin panel, so I did get a bottle and taste it. It was very good. And this is coming from a non-gin drinker. Love the packaging across the board. If I had one bit of feedback, the naming of each of the spritz, the soda, the fizz, the tonic, it kind of gets lost in that beautiful art. Might be harder for the consumer off the shelf or out of the cold box to be able to identify exactly which one they are. That said, how is the brand going for you? I guess it's a twofold question. One, are you in distribution in the States now, and how many states? And then two, the difference in price per ounce of your RTDs and your gin, how does that reflect out in the market?
So that's a really, really good question. So to answer the first part, as I mentioned, we're not in the US yet. For us, the brand was launched 5 years ago, and it was important to be really ready to get to the US market. We had some concept to prove. We did that across Canada, also in some part of Europe and Asia. So that's the first answer. Regarding the spritz and fizz and tonic element, we are actually looking to increase the dimension. That's an important element. And what was the last part of the question, sorry? You wanted to know?
On pricing, the price per ounce, you know, the gin versus the RTD.
So the gin will sit in the US market between $28.99 and $34.99. And for the RTDs in 4-packs, so these will be between $14.99 and $18.99, depending on market. Price per ounce is high in the market. The reason for it is because we have a super premium gin, so it's important for us to have a nice match and bring a super premium vibe to the RTD category.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Trey, I want to switch over to you. What are your thoughts, Trey?
I really like what's in the can. To me, it's like the perfect balance between a seltzer and a cocktail, and it fits that middle like perfectly. Like I'd grab this out of the fridge instead of making myself a cocktail. I really like the art direction. I personally, I would like to see the art reflect the flavors that are in the bottle a touch more. I know working with artists, you can't give them too much direction. I respect that, but that's what I've got. So when we talk about marketing this to the consumer, is there a point where you think that the cause is going to have to give way to the commerce of the product in order for it to grow?
Can you repeat that? Because the last part, sorry, I didn't get it.
Oh yeah, so do you feel like there's going to be a point where the cause of the product is going to have to give way to the growth of the product, the commerce aspect of it?
What do you mean by the cause? I'm really sorry about that.
You said the cause comes first, right? Of the product. Is there any, like, for example, the art on the can? You feel like that's ever something that is going to give way to selling more cases? That's something that
for us, like, art can be changeable. Like each RTD can is the number of the edition is written, and it's something that we already introduced in the gin category. We adapt the artwork depending on the market. For example, releasing a French version with a French artist. So the recipes will remain, but we will adapt artwork based on market. But now we have 4 RTDs. The 5th one has to be with a US artist, and we will deploy whatever needs to be to make it a success.
How will you build up brand recognition if you have a different brand?
I was just gonna ask the same thing, Ray.
So how are you going to have that? How are you going to build brand recognition when the packaging and the experience will be different? Many times people are traveling and they go to the chain restaurant, or they walk in and call for X brand when they're overseas because it's their comfort zone. So by having varying packages, how are you going to connect with a consumer and create brand equity?
And we got to do it in about 15 seconds, Steph.
Cool.
Sorry to cut you short, but.
One of our core values is disruption. This is one of the main questions we ask ourselves to start. But for us, when you think, for example, of Red Bull is extreme sports. We are urban and street art. So it's something that needs to be built in time. So we will not like have multiple artworks to start in the market. There needs to be a time where we build that recognition. But going forward, this allows us to bring some new energy and marketing energy in the brand.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you for your presentation. Next up, we're going to hear from Garrett Olson and Andy Kuklock with Passion Tree Hard Seltzer. You know, Passion Tree has a goal to make a positive impact on planet Earth. Thank God. A promise to plant one tree for every case of Passion Tree Hard Seltzer sold. Gentlemen, take it away.
Awesome. Hey guys, I hope all is well. We're so excited to tell you about our brand.
I got to stop. Are you guys in a camper right now? I just want to, am I seeing this right?
We are. We're in our fully wrapped Passion Tree RV. It's an absolute beast.
Let's go, baby.
We're going to show you
I love it. All right.
But
let's see it.
Yeah, we wanted to tell you about our story. It all started when I first moved to Miami about 18 months ago. The first week I was there, I ended up going to this winery called Schnebley's Winery. And when I was at that winery, I met Peter Schnebley, the first gen owner, and he took me on a tour around the facility. And what they actually do is they make their wines from exotic fruits. So when I went there, they were pressing guavas and squeezing that guava juice and fermenting it and making those wines. The next day, I went to the beach and I gave Andy a call. And we were on the phone. We were talking about my experience, and he said, "You know what? There's such a lack of flavor variety in the hard seltzer market. What if we implemented these flavors into that market?" And that's when we were like, let's do it. So a couple weeks later, you know, we're trying to figure out how we formulate this thing. So we decided we'd try and formulate it ourselves. And we did that I bought a fruit press. I bought a 5-gallon little drum, and I was actually pressing these guavas in my studio apartment, making that juice and fermenting it. And in the fermentation process, it has to be temperature control. So what did I do? I turned down my AC to 60 degrees, and I lived at 60 degrees for a full month trying to ferment it. And it was an absolute disaster. So what we did is we found out we needed to find someone to do the commercial formulation. So we talked with the company out of St. Paul, Minnesota to do that formulation for us. And before we did the formulation, we wanted to figure out what the issues were in the market. What are the issues with the current seltzers? So we did a taste testing with 50 guys and 50 girls with 7 different seltzers in the market.
And there was 4 big concerns that we found out. And the first one was the other seltzers had too much carbonation. Passion Tree Hard Seltzer is the first lightly carbonated seltzer to hit the market, which is the biggest game changer. The next is the flavor variety. Passion Tree Hard Seltzer, finally, new exotic fruit flavors. We got guava, passion fruit, dragon fruit, and boysenberry. The next was people were actually adding alcohol into their seltzers. And that's why ours is actually 5.5%, just a little bit more than the other seltzers, but not too much, just enough to drink it all day and all night. And the next is no one was connected to an environmental initiative. That's why for every case sold, 1 tree is planted around the world. And the next thing, honestly, was we wanted to make sure from the beginning that our product was Instagrammable. That's why when we created it, it's very sleek, simplistic, and very tropical.
And we knew as 3 25-year-olds that we couldn't do this alone. So what we did was we brought on 3 industry experts on our team that have been into the industry for over 40 years to make sure that we dominate San Diego. We launched about 4 weeks ago, and in 3 days, we activated 81 accounts being boots on the ground, really getting after it with our RV. We just got approved to be in 14 Ralphs. We just got approved for Grocery Outlet and BevMo. We are absolutely killing it. And it's just what resonates so well with our target market because we're able to enter into, you know, those parties and those bars and those clubs and talk with everyone and really get the hype going. And we've had such incredible feedback. And we knew we needed to do something different in the alcohol industry. And that's why we fully wrapped this RV. So wanted to step outside and show you.
Let's see it. Then we got to wrap you guys up. Wow.
Here
Sweet.
she is, baby. Let's go.
All right. Nice. You guys look like you're having fun. With that said, we're going to switch it over to the Q&A portion here. Trey, we're going to start with you this time.
Yeah, as a exclusive mango seltzer drinker, I appreciate the tropical flavors. It is a big category. There's a lot of choice out there right now. I think we've hit a point where it's been around long enough where people pick their favorites. So there's a lot of physical availability, not as much mental availability. What do you think the consumer you're after, what do you think you're going to have to do to pull them towards your product, and what marketing plans do you have in place?
Yeah, I'd say honestly, full on frontal attack in terms of marketing. That's why we're very aggressive with our marketing. We allocate a lot of funds towards social media. Also, our social media is so much different than any other seltzer. We saw other seltzers on the market, such boring Instagram feeds. It's just a bunch of pictures with cute girls posting pics on like a picnic or something like that. That's why our Instagram's been popping off. We've had over 40,000 followers now. It's because we actually create engaging content. That engaging content is 10 videos every month that are 10 to 15 seconds long. They're very random. They kind of make you say, what the hell did I just watch? But they make you send it to your friend, which is the best type of marketing. Also, we have our Wrapped RV. We just go around hitting every party. People love it. We get the product lips to lids. It's the biggest thing that we can do in this type of market. It's very competitive, but we're so confident in the taste of our beverage because the light carbonation, like we were saying, it's the biggest game changer. People try and they're like, wow, like I didn't realize that this is what I didn't really like about the other seltzers.
Kristen, what are your thoughts?
So I have a couple of questions, you guys. I actually have a supplier. They're kind of our dynamic duo that we have, and they remind me very much of you two. They run around in the country in an RV. They do the whole bit. You guys are like twins. So you've got a thing, and it definitely works. My question is specifically, I understand that just because of my knowledge, these are all malt-based beverages. These are not spirit-based, correct?
No, they're actually cold brewed from sugarcane. So it's a dextrose sugar brew. So yeah.
Okay. So I know that specifically when it comes to seltzers, there is always a look for it being specific, whether it's spirit-based or malt-based. So in your packaging, maybe make that a little bit more predominant. I know that it also in my market matters whether it's spirit or malt based off of taxes, based off of lots of multiple things. I did see the beer on there, but maybe make it a little bit bigger so that consumers can see that it's exactly what it is. Give it a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little ovular piece that says cold brewed from sugarcane on it, on the can. So that's kind of a way that we, kind of display that.
We also put it on the box as well. And it's also involved in our marketing too, because a lot of the eyes, from our target market are watching us online too. They're following our social media, and we do mention that as well. That's how we kind of make sure and educate people.
Perfect. Okay.
Ray, I'm going to let you have the last question. We have 1 minute. So I am always the bearer of bad news, but we've got 1 minute. So Ray, any feedback, questions, anything?
Yeah, love the packaging. It's almost personifies what you're about to taste. Future extensions, any other flavors, any more exotic fruits, the non-conventional usual flavors that you see on the shelf?
Yeah, we actually have a flavor that we're going to release on our next can order. I don't know if I'm going to tell you just because it's a flavor that hasn't been released on the market. And we're very, very excited about it, but we finished the formulation for it. So that's going to be our additional SKU. We're going to release it in 6-packs. Right now, we just have a variety 12-packs. So it'll definitely be great for us to get some additional shelf space as well.
Yeah. And
all right, gentlemen.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Ray. I got to keep the time here, so I apologize. We're halfway through. Judges, you guys are doing a great job. The panelists, excellent. Everyone's doing a great job. So we're halfway home. I hope everyone at home watching is enjoying this. I know I certainly am. This is really exciting stuff. So with that said, we have Andrew Rodbell from Post Meridian Spirit Company. They make authentic ingredient, full strength cocktails in novel 100 ml single serve cans. Andrew, you've got the floor right now. Tell us about your brand, your packaging. Love the backdrop. And I've got some of these products at home, so thank you for sending them to me.
No, my pleasure. And again, thank you for having us. I'm Andrew Rodbell, co-founder of Meridian Spirit Company. After 20 years in corporate America, including most of a decade at the Coca-Cola Company, I left to follow my passions. Meridian is the first line of cocktails in 100 ml cans. But that's just the beginning of what makes us different, and that helps us connect with consumers. If you remember one thing about Meridian and what I say today, it's that all the decisions that led to this were very intentional. Everything we do is in service of authenticity and in service of cocktails, be it the beverage itself, or the packaging, or the messaging, or the manufacturing, or the route to market. So we're committed to this authenticity. And why? And the answer is pretty simple. Taste. Taste is king. We all know that real ingredients taste better. The moment of inspiration was I was at a concert, a yacht rock concert, which had the smooth sounds of 70s music with my now business partner, Charles Sane. And that beckoned to Mai Tai, and it was nowhere to be found. The idea was immediate. Let's make authentic cocktails, meaning real ingredients at the right proportion and full strength. And let's make cocktails as accessible as beer and wine. Also immediate was the core tenet, authenticity. No shortcuts, no compromises. If we can't make it truly authentic, we won't do it at all. And it sounds obvious to say, but great cocktails start with great ingredients. We make no compromises. Our bourbon is from a barrel, not accelerated aged. Our bitters are steeped, not manufactured. Our liquors are imported and they're not recreated at a flavor house. And most critically, we use 100% real lime juice, not the industry standard of artificial colors and flavors and citric acid. And why? Because 100% lime juice tastes 100% better. Next, the packaging actually picked us. 100 ml is the perfect size for a cocktail. And also working with food scientists and packaging engineers, we learned that this is the best format for protecting our quality ingredients, especially the 100% real lime juice. In terms of manufacturing, our commitment to authenticity also led us to build our own canning line instead of doing the industry standard route of doing contract manufacturing. While this requires a lot more work, self-manufacturing does have many benefits. We're able to make the cocktails without compromise. We can do demand planning on a dime. We're able to control our supply chain and all the financial benefits that come with that. And that's not just how we make it, but also how we talk and message about the cocktails. So if you'll notice, we made the name of the recognizable cocktail the largest thing that you can read. And we did that because consumers buy things that are familiar. And we also bucked another industry trend, is we listed the ingredients right on the can, not just the ingredients, but the amounts. We kind of lifted that idea from RX Bar and Spindrift and other things from other categories. And we do that again because of full ingredient transparency is something that we know millennials value. And it's the best way to say you're authentic. Instead of saying we're authentic, we show it. Another thing we do is we wanted to make sure we had a low entry price point so that we could inspire consumers to try us and incent them to try it. So we have a $3.99 cost per can for the consumer. And it's also because we're honest with the fact that it's an impulse buy for consumers. And lastly, we thought about the consumer experience at the retailer as well. So we created these acrylic gravity-fed displays, which are very premium and tell the story that we need to tell. So since launching in Georgia in spring of 2019, we've had replicated success in over 4 different states. We're now investing in a new canning line so we can go into many more markets much faster. And like many in the RTD space, we just feel lucky to be here at the convergence of these major trends.
Well, Andrew, we're glad you're here. Thank you for the presentation. Packaging looks great. We're now going to switch gears to go to Q&A. Christian, why don't you kick us off with the questions, please?
Thank you. Well, so I think the packaging is great. I'm also loving the fact that, you listed the amounts on here. The juice inside is outstanding. I'm kind of torn between the daiquiri and the Mai Tai. But my question to you is more along the lines of, in the retail location, are you looking to just be at the counter, or are you looking for shelf space? Because one of the challenges is the challenge and not, but the small size, a retailer might not want to take up that real estate on the shelf. So how are you going to overcome that? And what's your strategy? What's your plan?
No, thank you. And those are questions we hear all the time, especially as we enter new markets. So yes, counter space is incredibly valuable. And that's part of the reason we created this display, was because we wanted to create it, normally we'll have 5 of them for 5 different SKUs. But if there's less space, we wanted to make it sessionable so people can move them around. But look, the answer is what do they put on their counter? Things that have high margin and things that move. So we make sure that, we support it with marketing. And also we're gonna start to have alternatives. So when we launch, we always want to launch as a single serve because of the impulse buy price point. But our retailers have been asking us for a 4-pack, and we're developing that right now. So then, and as we get more mature into more markets, we'll be able to have more alternatives to be in different places within the store.
Laurent, any questions or feedback?
Yes, again, I agree with what really great packaging. The juice is great. The lime is certainly forward. So there's no doubt about that. I heard you speak to that. You talked a little bit about the 4 or 5 states that you're in. Who do you see your biggest competitor in this category to be?
It's so interesting. Thank you for asking that question. There are a couple fast followers who are coming in with packaging similar with us. And of course, we're looking at On the Rocks, who's been very successful in multi-states with cocktails that are ready to drink. But if I'm really honest with myself, I'm not stealing share from them. I'm stealing share from seltzer drinkers. I see consumers on a journey from beer to seltzers for health and wellness reasons to something more authentic. So they move to the high noons of the world. And then, we're there to catch them to be the beyond. And so I think that cocktails are the next thing. We like to be ahead of the trends. I think everyone on this call is. So it's kind of, if you ask me who my competitive set is, it's the ready to drink category as a whole.
Great. Casey, I'm going to have you wrap us up with the final question.
I love the packaging. I love the fact that everything is right there where you can see it. I love the small can, easy to grab. I love the counter space unit with great things like quality ingredients, high ingredients. Some things do come with that. What is your shelf life
Absolutely.
for these cans?
In 30 seconds, please.
We're not making Twinkies here. If a cocktail doesn't have a shelf life, don't drink it.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We do have a shelf life. We worked really hard to extend it as far as possible. We have 8 months shelf life currently with this lime juice. We have other juices we wanted to use that did not last that long, and we did not launch with those products. So again, we are very concerned about how our retailers have time to sell it. So that's why we work with just lime juice right now, because it's 8 months.
Andrew, thank you. Great
Thank
presentation. Great questions from our panel. Now we are on to our 5th contender, Carl Ziegler from Roseade USA. It is a blend of dry rose wine, fresh lemonade with a gentle spritz. It sounds like a perfect, I'm here in Texas today. It's about 110 degrees. I think it would be perfect right now. So Carl, tell us more, please.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, you definitely need a Roseade, man. That's hot.
Yeah.
So hello to all of you. Thank you for including Roseade in the brand battle. We're really excited to be here. Please crack open your Roseade. You can either pour it over ice or drink it right out of the can. And try not to finish it before I'm done speaking. Roseade was created by my business partner, Lee Smallman, in 2018. His family's winery in the Mornington Peninsula near Melbourne had made too much rosé in the 2017 vintage. And he needed a way to move the juice or have to sell it off at a loss. Lee was inspired to make something similar to a sangria, but more refreshing and easier to drink. He started toying around with blending different fruit juices with the rosé and eventually landed on fresh squeezed lemonade. As you can see, the result was delicious. Not too long after Lee had bottled his first batch of Roseade, I was on the other side of the world in New Orleans with a group of friends. We were at a sports bar with a terrible wine list. So I went down the street to a wine shop and picked up a few bottles, one of which was a rosé. I took a photo of the bottles and posted it to Instagram with the caption "Wine Snob in a Sports Bar" and hashtag rosé and a few other things. Lee was following the hashtag rosé and started following me, not knowing I had an import company called Concurrent Wines. When I saw the Roseade page, I immediately fell in love with the branding, sent them a DM, and I was talking to Lee the next day about possibly working together. He sent me some samples, and as soon as I tasted it, I knew we had a winner. It took us a couple of years to get Rosade to the US. Once we got it into the cans, the numbers worked and we were able to get going. We've been rocking ever since the first container landed this spring. So let's talk about Rosade itself. It's the most unique and exciting new RTD of the summer. Rosade is the new daytime drink of choice and also happens to be very photogenic. It's all about refreshment. It's tart, it's not sweet. It's all natural. So it's comprised of rosé of Shiraz from Coonawarra, fresh lemon juice from New South Wales, spring water, cane sugar, and a little bit of CO2 for the spritz. There's absolutely no plastic in the packaging. Here's our case. Spread the good vibes, branded. And then we have our 4-pack, telling the consumer exactly what's going to be in the product. And then we have the can, Lenny the Lemon, featured prominently. So it's a 250 milliliter can, by the way. It's 8% alcohol, and be careful, it can sneak up on you. 173 calories per can, 11 grams of carbs, 7 grams of sugar, and it's gluten-free. Our SRP is $15.99 for the 4-pack and $4.99 each. So our first container landed end of March, beginning of April. And since then, we have gotten ourselves into wholesalers in New York, New Jersey, California, Colorado, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. We have Texas and Arizona coming on in the next month or so. We sold our first container out, which was 1,700 cases in about 2 months. We have 3 more 20-footers on the way from Australia, the first one arriving at our Napa warehouse on July 5th. Our most developed market has been Colorado. Our wholesaler there has done an incredible job. In our first month, they got us in over 100 new accounts. As far as national accounts, we're approved in GoPuff, BevMo, and with Central Market and Rayleigh's coming online as well. Our PR team has done a fantastic job, gotten us into write-ups, Pop Sugar, Forbes, Town and Country, The Hype, Boca Magazine, and we were on a National Rosé Day promotion on Fox News in Denver. So thanks for having me. And
thanks, Carl.
The good vibes.
Yeah, really cool. Thank you, Carl. We're going to have Kristen kick us off with the questions.
Yeah, thanks. First of all, I'd like to compliment your paper POS that was sent along with the sample itself. They all really roll really well with the brand, if you will, on the demographic that would be purchasing rosé. I think that it all really kind of matches really well.
You put one of the stickers.
My second question is, what are your expectations of a single SKU in 3 years? Are you planning on adding more SKUs, more flavors, different flavors? What are your expectations?
Our first innovation is going to be landing this summer. We're bringing in 19.5 liter kegs, key kegs. So that's our first innovation. So we can have more of a presence on premise. And then next spring, we're going to look at 750 bottles, clear bottles, just to, once again, to have a great, more shelf space and better options for on premise. As far as line extensions, flavor wise, yes, we have a couple things that we're looking at. I would say probably year 3 on those, because I think there's a lot of opportunity with just this core brand and this core flavor. Some of the things we're looking at is possibly a lower alcohol, lower calorie version, and then probably some other flavors, maybe like a strawberry lemonade.
Perfect, thank you.
Ray, any questions, thoughts, feedback, suggestions?
So as far as on the packaging, it says not for off-premise sale. Is this part of your?
That was, the law changed in December.
Okay.
So when we got our cola, that was still required because they hadn't allowed 250 mLs to be sold individually yet. So that was required for us to put on there because we were only allowed to sell the 4-pack at retail prior to things like December 27th or something like that.
Is there anything proprietary to your process to prevent someone from just mixing lemonade and rosé?
No, what's proprietary and what is all the intellectual property, all the branding, we have all of the sayings, the Roseade vibes, all that stuff is trademarked. So really it's the brand, and and we're using quality ingredients. I've already seen another rosé lemonade out there, and it's, I mean, I was worried till I tasted it. So we're putting a quality product out there, and obviously our recipe is one of the things that we own. That's proprietary.
We've got 1 minute left. Laurent, last question goes to you.
As I hit mute and lose 20 seconds of that. So I love the life is good kind of take on the brand. When you sent us the stuff, I jumped on your Instagram and was following it, and just the good vibes for sure. I think the product itself is it's very drinkable. We brought a can home and tried it with the family, and everybody really seemed to like that very much. The question that I have more so, and it goes to the competitive set as well, with the category being saturated, for lack of a better term. How do you plan on standing out?
Well, that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, fortunately, I think that our branding is second to none. I think that Lenny the Lemon on the can is just something people want to pick up and look at and get a hold of. So really, it's just getting, I think one of the other competitors mentioned is just get it in people's mouths. I mean, that's the key. Once we're able to do that, we can get it on the shelf. Then I think that the branding will carry the day for us. As far as I'm not sure if you asked this question, but it's one that we're constantly thinking about is where do we fit? Do we need to be with canned wines, or do we need to be with RTDs? Do we need to be with seltzers? And I really think that ultimately we want to be right next to the seltzer category. I mean, why not? That seems to be where people are shopping. Let's go right after it.
All right, well, I got to thank you. Great presentation, loved everything. Great questions from our judges. Now we are on to our final contenders for the Ready to Drink tournament. We have CC and Reed de Rosade from Troop Beverage. Troop was designed for a new class of drinkers, the ones who care about savoring sips and time with people that matter most. Your Troop. CC and Reed, you've got the floor.
Thank you so much, Bill. We're excited to be here with such a great group of entrepreneurs and this incredible panel of judges. So thank you for having us. I'm Cece, I'm the founder and president.
And I'm Reed, I'm the co-founder and COO.
And we are the married couple behind Troop Beverage Co. We make handcrafted cocktails in Napa, California. So how many of you have ever waited in line for 20 minutes at a bar, only to get back to your table and have to scream in your friend's ear to hear them? And how many of you have hosted a cocktail hour, only spend more time mixing drinks than actually enjoying them?
As natural hosts, Cece and I tried to solve these problems by crafting a better drink and better fun for our friends. And when mixing got tiring, we started looking at stores for something that we could buy. But ultimately, we couldn't find anything with the great taste and the good ingredients, the things that were the most important for us in our generation. So we launched Troop in 2019 because we were looking for better ways to socialize for our group of friends, our Troop.
So we distilled all the good parts about cocktails to make a real drink for the real ones. They're full flavor, full strength cocktails made with spirits, fresh squeezed citrus, herbs, and botanicals that we source from California farms and businesses. We currently have 3 drinks in market: the rum mojito, the gin spritz, and the bourbon smash, with 2 more on the way this summer, a basil vodka lemonade and a tequila paloma. Consumers care about what goes in their drinks, and we're proud that ours are made with spirits, not malt, and real ingredients, not chemical flavors. And we list each of our ingredients on the box as well as on the can. They're the appropriate ABV and size for a cocktail at 10% in a 200 milliliter can, and they're naturally low calorie and low sugar, so you don't have to compromise on quality or taste. The flavors are well balanced, so much so that I'm gonna crack open the can right now, making them the perfect in-hand occasion.
Or if you're feeling fancy and want to put a pinky out, you are welcome to pour them over ice, which I'll do with our gin spritz right here. And at $13.99 for a 4-pack, you can feel fancy without breaking the bank. We're building our line of cocktails and our Troop community around this new class of drinkers who are trading up to spirit-based cocktails for a number of reasons: higher quality flavor, a more premium drink, and because they prefer that spirit of choice as an alcohol base. So they bring Troop to the party instead of seltzer, wine, or beer.
We created Troop to inspire a new social scene. We're a female-founded company and also a 1% for the Planet brand. And our team is made up of women, LGBTQ, and people of color. And we're doing things differently in alcohol to create a more positive and diverse drinking culture. Up until this year, I was the only full-time founder at Droop. And as a self-distributed brand, we sold over 100 stores in California, including some top retailers like Whole Foods, Total Wine, Nugget Markets, Bristol Farms, and Lazy Acres. This year, we built our team up to 5 and have partnered with the statewide distributor and have since quadrupled our account base. And we're now available in hundreds of accounts throughout the state.
Our initial focus on California proved our success as a breakout canned cocktail brand. But as a top seller in national and regional retailers, we know that we're just getting started. So we've been selected by the global team at Whole Foods for an exclusive ready-to-drink pilot program beginning in Southern California this year with plans to roll out nationally next year. And in addition to those national retailers, we've also built traction on-premise in dozens of golf courses, hotels, and venues. This year, we'll be launching 2 additional cocktails that Cece mentioned as we grow in California, and we'll also expand our distribution to 4 more states in the Southwest. In 2022, we'll be adding more cocktails to our lineup and launching 5 to 7 additional states. We're just getting started on this journey, and we know that we have a lot to learn and a lot of Troop community to build. So as we expand a Troop to new markets and new communities and build it along the way, we're looking for the right distribution and retail partners that, like us, believe there's something special about sharing a damn good cocktail with your Troop. So looking forward to the questions, and cheers to you.
Cheers, thank you.
Looks delicious, guys. Looks delicious. Congrats on the success so far. Casey, what are your thoughts?
First of all, Reed, killer stash. Love that.
Thank you, Casey.
Second of all, I looked into your brand. It's a fantastic brand. I saw that you guys did a package change back in October, and I love the new package change. I actually have a couple questions, but first of all, what's your lead dog? What's your #1 brand for the 3, or #1 SKU?
Yeah, the rum mojito is absolutely the hero that we have so far. Although with the release of the vodka basil lemonade and the tequila paloma, I think there's going to be some competition at the top.
I could imagine, especially with palomas right now.
I was just going to say that paloma sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Is there plans for a co-pack anywhere in the future? Because I noticed you guys on your direct-to-consumer on the website, you guys do multi-packs as well, like a 24-pack and a 12-pack as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at a rainbow pack. It's going to look to come out early next year.
Yeah, and that will include the 2 new flavors, so it'll probably be a 10-pack, but there are some other cocktails that we have in the R&D process for next year as well.
Yeah, and we like to think with those 5 main spirits, we like to think of it as your personal bar in a box to really make it easy to socialize with your friends and allow you to focus on those people that matter the most rather than making drinks.
And I got one last question, and I apologize. Have you guys, since you guys blew up in California so quickly, was there any capacity issues?
No, there's not. So we actually just switched to a new production facility back in October of last year with this rebrand. It's a huge facility, and we work with them and have the ability to grow exponentially, which is great, and kind of transferred all of the IP and trade secrets that we have.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Christian. I'm going to turn it over to you. Any feedback or thoughts?
Yes, thank you. So I put it in the fridge overnight, and I love the like coating that it gets. It's almost like it's all partially frozen. It looks beautiful. So in terms of packaging design, it's really beautiful. Just to look at an ice cold can, because it's silver background, it makes the water just bead out beautifully. So it's a competitive market space. And what kind of point of sale materials do you guys have to help build a display or just to help sell the product when you're not actually having someone out in the market tasting people on? Because one of the things to look at is a nice package, but how do we know what it tastes like? So what can you do to talk about that point of sale?
Yeah, well, first I'll start by saying it is super competitive. You're absolutely right, Christian. The ready to drink space is probably the most competitive space right now. The way that we stand out is by building community. We have direct connections with our customers, and that's not just through social and digital, but in the physical world as well. We try and connect those two worlds as much as possible. So a lot of what we do, for instance, is we put QR codes on our packaging boxes themselves that you may have seen, and on our point of sale materials, where people can, with the boxes, go get a playlist to pair with each one of their drinks that really creates that occasion for them. Or on our point of sale, links them directly to user-generated video reviews of our product, so they can connect those two worlds. And really, that's what helps us to stand out. It's to say we're not just another big alcohol brand putting a product out here, but we're a real group of people that you too can be a part of.
I think the other thing I'll mention there is really being there in person and the interaction. As 2020 has left us, people are really excited to get out there in person. And though demos in California are not yet back where we are, there's a lot of other alternative ways that we've been able to get in front of people, get liquid to lips, and really get some excitement to really connect that physical and digital for them.
Well, great presentation, guys. So thank you. And I want to thank all of our contenders. You all did a great job. You had great presentations. So I know this is not easy for many of you, and it's certainly exciting for us to see. And I know our judges, thank you guys. You did you're going to do a great job. And with that said, I'm going to send the judges off to go do the difficult task of deliberating on this category to find the winner, who, by the way, will move on to the championship round, which will be Tuesday, September 14th. And while they deliberate, I want to ask you to vote for the brand that you would like to see win in the People's Choice category. It's very easy. You can see, you can just, it's popping up right now. Vote now, please. That will help us. And while the judges deliberate, we're going to once again hear from Dale Stratton with SipSource. Dale, he's going to spend a few minutes sharing such valuable information on this category that the WSWA has obtained from SipSource data. Dale, can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
Bill, thank you very much. And you said earlier that this category is hot. Why don't we skip the first two slides, jump right into the third slide? Next one, there you go. And this really illustrates what's happening with the cocktail category. And you can see here that cocktails have actually moved up 2 slots in volume in the last 2 years. The size of the bar represents share, the dots represent trend. Cocktails are growing, premixed cocktails growing at 73.4%. So just phenomenal what's happening with this product class. Next slide, please. And one thing that's interesting, and we pre-pandemic really thought about pre-mixed cocktails as being off-premise only and more retail oriented. As bars and restaurants start to open up, we're starting to really see a jump in pre-mixed cocktails in the on-premise. This represents the on-premise. Same thing, bar share, and the dots are the trend. And you can see here that in the on-premise, pre-mixed cocktails are the only growing class, and that's actually across wine and spirits, and they're growing 53.8% as these on-premise operators look for efficiency and vehicles to make their processes more simple and still deliver high quality. Next slide. Just emphasizing that again, and really just showing the share gains. And actually, in the interest of time, why don't we move on? There's a little hard to explain what that slide is. So, but cocktails performing very well, gaining share in both the on and off premise. Next slide. I think it's really important here, and looking at this by size. And interesting to me, in a pre-mixed cocktail, vast area in the spirit side of things. So 175s remain the highest volume, but what has happened here is you see this size other. And what we don't break out in SipSource are 355s. And that 355 segment is really growing big in new cocktails and smaller cans, bottles, if you will. So we're seeing that single serve item really move great, but you're seeing good growth across a lot of different sizes, and we expect that to even be more so the case. Next slide. Price tiers, as you see these price tiers around, good balanced growth. There's room for pre-mixed cocktails in a lot of different packages and also in a lot of different price points. The consumer is responding, but we see that super premium level being the most popular. Next one. And to close this out, growth rates across the country are extremely strong. No matter what part of the country you go to, you can see the Northeast, they're really bumping up bigger than the others. But the slowest growing area is 51%. So growth is very even across the United States, and we expect that to continue to be the case, especially as new items roll into this segment. It's going to continue to be a strong growth category for the foreseeable future. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Bill.
Dale, thank you. You know, they say knowledge is power, and this is really good information. So I appreciate that. I'm not going to keep you all waiting any longer. I know our contenders are chomping at the bit to find out who won. So I'm very excited to announce today's winners. First up is our People's Choice Award winner. And I'm going to pull it up right now. Can I get a drum roll, please? Our People's Choice winner is Troop Beverage Company. Oh my gosh, this is really tough stuff. Congratulations, Troop Beverage Company. You are our People's Choice winner. All right, now moving on to, oh my goodness, this is tough. This is tough. Here we go. Wow. You're not going to believe this, guys, but we actually have a tie. I know. I can't believe it either. Who would have thought that we would have a tie? But we do. And whew, Post Meridian and Romeo's Gin tied for Judge's Choice. Congratulations, guys. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's exciting. So, goodness gracious. I'm going to congratulate all of you. All the awards will be mailed to you, just so you guys know, in the next few weeks. I want to thank all of our contenders who participated today. You all have great, unique products. I hope this was helpful. I'm sure a lot of eyes saw your products. So even if you didn't come home a winner today, I think everybody who participated today won, because it's great exposure, and you know, it's great for all of us to learn more about your products. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank our judges for all the valuable feedback and questions. For everyone viewing, all the contenders information can be found online at the Brand Battle directory. The link to the directory has been placed in the chat box, but it can also be found at the tournament website. And we also want to make all of you aware, but especially members of the media in attendance, that there's going to be a category winner virtual press briefing following this broadcast. You'll hear from today's winners about their experience, and you'll be able to grill them with even more questions for your reporting. So you can find a link to the briefing in the chat box, or you can go to alena@wswa.org for more information. I also really have to give a big thank you to our sponsors of today's tournament, 750 Beverage Media Group. Thank you, guys. Always such great sponsors, as well as our other tournament supporters. We certainly couldn't do it without you. So we hope you've enjoyed today's program, and we want you to watch the other tournament Tuesday competitions this summer. Next week, we're going to hear from 5 contenders from another category with great summer products, rum. That's right. You can register to hear all about the wonderful rum products that are coming on the market. You can find the link in the chat box or online, and we will save you guys a seat. I want to wish everyone a wonderful week. I want to congratulate all of our winners. I want to congratulate everyone who participated today, and I want to thank the judges for giving us your valuable time today. So with that said, congratulations. Have a wonderful week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today.